All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We can call this meeting to order. I don't have an agenda. Did we send out an agenda?
Yeah. Ashley, do you have that?
Did I miss that totally? I apologize if I did.
Yeah, we have one.
Okay. Okay, well, tell me what we're doing then.
There's a few items. Ashley, are you working on that?
I did send out an agenda to everybody.
Oh, I must have missed it. I'm sorry, Ashley. Thank you.
I can bring it up on my screen if you'd like.
Yeah, or I can resend it.
Let's just do our quick virtual meeting introduction. For folks that may be watching online, we are continuing to meet virtually. This is the monthly meeting of the Missoula Cemetery Board. If you'll go to the next screen, please. If you're interested in making comments from your computer, you can raise your hand and we will admit you to the meeting for public comment. If you're calling in by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to mute and unmute.
Thanks, Jeremy.
And maybe let's do a quick sound check with our other board members. If we could just take a quick roll call of the board and just quickly unmute and say hello for us. Michelle or Ashley, could you call roll for me?
Sure. Pat McHugh. Neil Carson.
Here.
Mary Lou Cordes. Paul Filicetti. I think I see his name on there. Okay, and Kim Seeberger.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, so I see Paul is in the list, but we'll give him a minute to see if he can get his audio working. Okay, while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and share the agenda.
They called him Pickles, and then we decided that's the boys keeping pictures, and we went for it.
Okay.
All right, thanks for pulling that agenda up. I think the next item on our list here is approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at minutes from January? I believe it's February already.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve them or make any changes?
This is Kim. I make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Thanks, Kim. Paul? All right, we're not able to get a second on that quite yet. It looks like Paul's on, but I'm still not able to hear him. Let's table the approval for a minute and see if we can't come back to that. Move on to public comments. Do we have any public members joining us today.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, that's one of my children. All right. So let's move into the staff report and financials then. Do we have a staff report or financial report?
Okay, who's taking this?
This Ashley. You're muted, Ash. There you go.
I was thinking Brett would do it. Oh, the financials, I can do it. I thought for the staff report, we could introduce Carissa, our new admin out at the cemetery. I think she's on here.
Hello.
Hi, Carissa. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So maybe we could introduce ourselves real quick. Have you met all of the city employees that are on the call here today?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Neil Carson. I'm currently the board chair. And then we have Paul on the call, but again, I don't know what's going on with Paul. But Kim, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
I'm Kim Seeberger. I've been on the board for, I think, about 5-6 years now. So welcome.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
Let's see. Oh, are we, yeah, thank you for introducing Carissa to us. Did we have any other staff report? Brett, do you have anything?
I don't know.
Okay. How's snow removal going?
Melting pretty quickly, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah, streets are all clear.
That's why we live in the Rockies. Should we jump to financials then? Oh, Pat, you're on the call. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, I didn't see it till just now.
Yeah, I was talking, but I could see that I wasn't being viewed. So yeah, no problem. How's it going?
Thanks. Sorry about that. Carissa, Pat McHugh, he is another board member with us.
Hey, Carissa, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Ashley, are you doing the financials? Do you mind sharing that out again? I saw it was on the screen.
Ashley, I can put that back up, or if you'd like to share your screen, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, if you would, that would be great.
Sorry, I got stuff in the way here. There we go. Okay. Okay, so there were two attachments with the agenda for financials. This is the January 21 deposits. And then there is a second attachment for Missoula Cemetery Department expenditure budget. So, Whitney, where do you want to go, Ashley?
I guess we can just start here with the expenditures. So this is just where we are up to date. It shows the budget and the expenses and what we have remaining up to date to the end of January. Does anybody have any questions?
So this
Okay.
is
Ashley, did you have any unexpected expenses in the month of January?
Not really. We have been cruising along pretty good. So.
Terrific. Thank you.
Just one quick comment. If you look at the department totals at the bottom, you can tell that there's a bunch of information that's missing, and that's from the personnel side that is not shown here. So if you look at the adopted budget, there's a substantial amount of money above that that we can't see that covers personnel expenses.
I was kind of wondering about that.
Yeah. Maybe we can bring that to the next one if you're interested.
Yeah, I think you've got a couple of finance people on the board, so we're always wanting more data when it comes to numbers. Does the board have any thoughts, questions, concerns on this? Sounds good.
Okay, we can look at the
On to
revenue.
the next
one
one.
now. So this one just shows our sales in January. It was kind of a busy month. It was nice to train with Carissa, so we did have some sales. And was pretty comparable to last month, but hopefully we'll get busier with flower care coming up here pretty soon. We were kind of on a roll with casket internments. We had about 6 in a row. So that's kind of unusual. Usually we have a better mix of cremation and casket. But it shows our total and then the split out.
Pat, Kim, Paul, do you have any questions?
No.
No questions here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. All right, moving right along then. Oh, the cleaning contract. Yes. Let's talk about that a little bit. So let's see. We got an email last month asking if we could add cleaning services to the city cemetery. I think there isn't a whole lot of square footage that needs to be cleaned, but it does include things like the bathrooms. I guess my understanding is that cemetery personnel have been doing this previously. Is that correct?
Correct.
Let's see. So do we need to have any discussion around this? Pat, Kim, Paul, anyone?
I was just surprised that the contract is for cleaning only once a week, and you've got public restrooms, and granted, January, you probably don't get them used much, but that just doesn't seem enough.
Brett, when your staff was cleaning those restrooms, how often did you clean them?
We cleaned them everything on Fridays.
So
But
that's
we
it.
would check them periodically just to make sure there wasn't any wrecks in there. And if there was, we would tend to any problems.
So this contract is in line with what was historically done.
Yeah, and I believe
Right.
it's in the contract that they'll do some quality control checks throughout the week as well.
But are your public restrooms at the city only cleaned once a week?
Deep clean once a week, yeah.
At the city?
Like in the courthouse, you mean, or city building?
Well, the courthouse, they're cleaned daily a number of times.
Right.
And I would assume at the city hall, they do the same thing.
They're cleaned daily. I agree, Tim. I mean, it would certainly be better if we could clean them daily, and if the board and if the budget allows, if you want to pay to clean them daily, you can, but I question how much traffic are you getting, and is that a good balance or a good use of the funding? You know, one or two people a week using it, I don't know, it's your call, but if it's always been historically once a week, and I don't know, do we ever get complaints on that, Brett, prior to this?
No, we have not.
Okay.
Well, could we start with once a week and then just monitor and see how it goes?
Yeah. And I think having staff check them once a day to make sure there's no disasters in there, and then take appropriate steps if additional cleaning is needed.
Do we need a vote on this,
That would be appreciated if you have a quorum.
Yeah, we do have a quorum if Paul can weigh in.
Yeah,
Can you guys hear me now?
Aha, yes.
there you are.
Yeah, I finally got admitted to the meeting. Seems I was only had access as somebody who can listen, not a participant. Somebody corrected it, so thanks for doing that.
And one other thing too, did the board get a chance to read the cover letter that Katie sent? I think it was last week, that gives some more explanation of all this.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, she did a nice job of that, explaining everything. So
Yeah, I appreciate the work that she put into that for us.
Yeah.
Definitely. Paul, did you have any other thoughts before calling for a vote on this?
I would agree with Kim, but as well, I think if we just monitor the situation, as was suggested, watch out for disasters on a daily basis, that'd be sufficient for the near term.
Brett, do you mind maybe giving us some periodic updates as we go on then, and let us know if more or less is needed going forward?
Yeah, I can certainly do that.
Great.
I would also add that, is it possible we could just make sure that when events are scheduled, that somebody makes sure those restrooms are cleaned? When you know in advance there's going to be a large party in the grounds.
Yeah.
As it were.
good.
Yeah, if there was some on the weekend, like Stories and Stone, say, for instance, our staff would be on top of that.
Can I get a motion to approve the cleaning expenses then?
I would move that we approve as recommended to contract for the once a week janitorial services and monitor as appropriate.
Thanks, Pat. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All approved?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Then I take it, Katie can implement that contract then?
Yeah, I think all that we're waiting for is my signature. So now it's board approval. I believe I can do that now. So thank you.
Please sign away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving along, new niche wall name. Brett, is this you?
Excuse me?
Is this item on the agenda yours to talk about naming the niche wall in the columbarium?
It's my understanding that the board is the one who chooses the names for the columbarium.
And typically those come to the board with a recommendation. I think they use flowers. I could be wrong about that. Or we have in the past.
Flower names in the past.
Do you happen to have a list of what we've chosen from in the past?
I don't have that in front of me. Krista, do you have that information handy?
I don't have the previous list, but the names for the wall, I believe, is Dahlia, we have Violet, we have Rose. Let me grab the rest of my list 1 sec.
Crocus,
Yeah, we have Crocus, Aster, Dahlia, Violet, and Rose are the flower names we have already.
I don't have the historical knowledge on the naming of these walls. Can anyone weigh in here as far as, are we coming up with a name? Do we get a name recommended to us and approve it? What's the, procedurally, what's the historic, what have we done historically for this?
And Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, Pat too, but typically, or in the past, what I recall is that staff presented a list of names based on flowers that we selected from.
Correct.
Could we just put a list together and send it out through email? Or you guys want to start naming some off? I like bull thistle.
Knapweed.
Lavender.
Does anyone, if it would be nice, I'm sure if we could move the naming process along. Does anyone have any thoughts on flower names that we could think about right this second?
I didn't hear daffodil or
Lily?
lily. Yeah,
Oh, I
daisy.
like Lily.
Yeah, I like lily too.
Brett, do you have any thoughts?
I just kind of trying to go through them in my head, I guess, as far as what there are out there. And you know, Lily's a good one. The longer names probably tend to be a little harder to fit on the side of the Cambarium.
So don't choose bear grass or something like that.
Yeah.
Brett, do you have any iris out there?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
That's a good one too.
Pat or Kim, do you have any thoughts?
I like iris. But I'm not a flower person. I don't know a bunch of different flowers.
I'm good with.
And I
pretty much
just did a
any-
quick search for Montana wildflowers, and you know, we have bluebell, iris is definitely on the list, sunflower, violet, buttercup, phlox, heather, and I'm fine with iris if that's
So
if that's available.
let's have a vote on approving iris then as the new niche wall name.
I'll make a motion for iris as a new niche wall name.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pat, did you want to weigh in?
Aye.
on- Thank you. Iris, there we are.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, I'm good with just about any of them. It would be great if we could put like Bitterroot, you know, in there somewhere, but obviously that's pretty long too. That was my only other thought.
Yeah, because Brett, do you have to pay an engraver to do that, or do you do it in-house?
I'm not sure how that has been done in the past.
Okay. So there may be some expense involved with it.
But we do have the engraving equipment, right?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Ongoing business, dun dun dun. Okay, strategic plan.
Okay, I think I'm.
Where are we with this, Jeremy?
You're on.
So, hoping to get final approval on the plan today. We sent comments back to our consultant after our last board meeting. They responded to those comments and sent a new version of the report, which was sent out to all of you earlier. So hopefully you had a chance to look at that. I'm happy to dive into any specifics that you'd like to take a look at how they responded. Like we talked before, we'd like to get this plan wrapped up, get council approval on it, so that we can start to work towards the implementation pieces and looking ahead to our fiscal year 22 budget and what kinds of requests we want to put into that budget request. So timing is important. We have already tackled some of the things that are in the strategic plan in terms of starting to draft ordinance revisions. Susan has a draft of that mostly ready that I plan to bring to the next board meeting in March, so we can review that. I think we still need to spend a little bit of time talking about implementation priorities in terms of, what of all these recommendations in the plan really needs to happen first. But I think the first step is just, are we solid with the plan and the recommendations that are in there? And did the consultant adequately address your comments?
Thanks, Jeremy. Let's open this up for discussion then.
I don't know. I thought that they addressed all of the things that we brought up pretty well. And like Jeremy has said in the past, that this is a plan. It's not that it absolutely has to be carried out step by step, but it's just a guidance for us.
Yeah, I appreciate that they were able to update the document and send it back to us, and I thought that they did a good job addressing things that we had brought up.
Jeremy or Ashley, I have not seen the new revised version of this. Could anybody email that to me at some point?
Yeah, sorry, Brian. I thought you were on the list.
Well, if I was, I missed it. I don't think I got this.
Okay. Brian deletes my emails too. It's okay.
Oh, Neil, I don't think I've received any from you yet, but I will.
See what I mean?
No, you're not from Parks Department. I won't delete you first.
Pat, did you have excuse me? Did you have a chance to review the updated version of this?
Yeah, I had the same comment, I guess. I thought it was addressed. I mean, I think they addressed some of the comments that we brought up. So
do you have
really
any outstanding concerns, Pat?
No, I think having a document just to work from, I don't think anything is ever locked in stone. And of course, we have the ability to create some priorities, and then just to do some planning based upon the document's a big deal. So
thank you, Pat.
I think the consultant did a nice job in the comment response. You can see how he responded to each one of our comments, and whether he was able to respond to it directly in the report or whether it was something that kind of falls outside of this report. So it's good record of how he did all those comments.
So I don't think I got that
to look at this?
version that you guys are looking at on the screen.
I attached it to the agenda, which was in the email for the agenda link. So
Okay.
Oh,
should have
it
gotten
was,
it.
okay.
Well, it was attached to the agenda. And if you ever have questions, you can always go to the City of Missoula website, and under meetings, our agenda is posted there with all the attachments as well.
My
So-
apologies, Ashley. I missed
Yeah,
that.
so
also.
if you click on the agenda link in the email, all the attachments are there. And then also you can find them on that City of Missoula website under meetings, which is what Jeremy has up on his screen now.
Yeah, this is coming straight off the city website. And so you can see the two attachments here, the comment response version and the updated January report.
Yeah, when I click on their version, I get the same document. I'm not getting an updated version.
Let's see here.
So what am I doing wrong?
So this is the updated version, should be dated January 21. The other version should have comments and be dated September 2020.
Okay. So as I go to page 1 of the updated version, the first paragraph, in the commented responses one, there's a comment about perpetual long-term and perpetual care. Then as I look at the updated document that I have available, it doesn't make any change to that.
There it is.
And then as I move down to page, I think the next page is on 11, or next comment's on page 11. And trying to chase that comment back into the document, I'm not seeing, at least in the version I pulled up, that how that was addressed.
Sorry. The cat's knocking things off the desk. Okay, so I need to go to page 11. I'm afraid the page numbers may have changed a little bit here too.
Is this the one regarding parking?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's still on 11, Jeremy. At least the version I found online.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not gone through point by point to look at every change that they made here.
Yeah, and the version that I found on, or it must be from the website or from the agenda, Ash, was the one that still has the little bubble comments on it. I guess I can look harder to find the final version on the website apparently.
All right, there's your, I think that's the parking reference there.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And I'm not interested in going through this point by point right now, but as we go to Jeremy, your comments that we looked at last week on page 13, we had several markups. And then as I go to there, this is specific to the summary of recommendations. And as I go to their updated document, under the summary of recommendations, there have been no changes.
Yeah, well, I think his response here is he's responding to these comments, but he said he added a brief description of eastern edge. But a lot of these, I think, are outside the purview of this report, is what he's saying here.
I'm wondering if we need a little bit more time to review this. I don't want to put it off. But I'm wondering if we should make sure we're all in agreement on the updated version.
And I will say that my version, I'm not able to pull up those comments that are on the right-hand side of the screen.
Paul, do you see the little yellow bubbles that you can click on? It's not a comment. Like it doesn't
that on
appear like it
Jeremy's
appears on Jeremy's screen, but if I hover over the bubble, that's how it appears on mine. Then I get the comments.
The comments do not pop up. All I get is Jeremy's original text, which is interesting. So yeah, I would agree with you, Neil. I'd like to figure out a way that I could go through those comments and kind of read what they had provided.
Can we have a Jeremy, can we have another maybe week to look at this, and then we can set a special meeting to finalize this and vote on our approval?
Sure. We have to notice the meeting, so we need to probably look at, 2 weeks out, I think at a minimum, to set another special meeting.
Kim and Pat, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I'm totally good with that. That's fine.
Hey, Ash, can you send that screenshot you just emailed to me on how to access both documents from the agenda?
Sure, to everybody?
Yeah, the board. Was it Paul that was having
Okay.
seeing the whole
Okay,
thing?
perfect. I'll send it right now.
Okay, thank you.
I guess if anybody's having trouble with this electronically, we can get you a hard copy with the comments so that they're readable. I'm sure there are different versions of these PDF viewers that may treat these comments differently. So I suspect that's what you're struggling with, Paul. That your version is different than mine, so it's not coming out the same way.
Yep.
So if everybody would please take a look and make sure you have all the information you need, and get back to Ashley so that she can help with anything that you might need in the interim, and then we'll get another meeting scheduled.
Sorry for the delay, but I think it's important that we all are on the same page.
So I'm just going to ask that we focus on substantive comments, substantive changes. If it doesn't make any difference to the outcome, we need to wrap this up. So, it's important that they addressed our comments, but there may be some things in there that may not be exactly the way that will do the job.
Paul, were you going to say something?
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I thought I heard a noise. All right. Can we move on to ordinance changes then?
Oh, I apologize. We do have ordinance review on the agenda today. I thought we planned to do that in March, so good. Susan, are you willing to lead us through this?
I certainly could. Let me get my own copy up here.
Thanks for your work on this, Susan. We appreciate it.
Sure. It was, it was myself, Brett, and Ashley kind of ran it by each other. So I think to start with, and these were some of Ron's suggestions too from the past, like section 1244.010, just cleaning up or as approved by adding some language there. I was asked to take out obituaries. Maybe Ashley can explain that some more, but I don't think we always get the obituaries, so I think she wanted that taken out. We're still talking about the conveyance and assignment issues that are coming up. It's pretty difficult because we don't have a lot of good records. We're trying to make it so that if people want to be buried or cremated and their ashes interred, we're trying to make it easier for them and make it clearer about how we go about determining who can use that grave. I think the written assignments are not being found at the cemetery, so we took that out. And we just kind of cleaned up the language for documentation that will demonstrate that they have a right to be interred.
Susan, I'm trying to track with you on the screen.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to track as
Oh, I'm going off my own copy. I probably should be going
tell
off
me where
yours.
you are, or do you want to share your screen?
I don't know how to do that.
You just give me the section you're in. I can.
Okay. I'm just at the end of 1244.50, the conveyance.
Okay. I'm there.
Again, that's mostly trying to clean up some language and make it clear to help the staff figure out what documentation they should ask for or look at if somebody's asserting their right to be buried in a site. We added in the catch-all phrase, any other documentation. It's just down a little bit more, Jeremy. Keep going. Added in that section E right there that says, if they could come up with any other documentation that we think is acceptable, we'll take it. Then down to the niche fund, or niche fund, I think that was requested by the board, I think. Or no, maybe that was recommended by the Sloan Group.
I think we were all in agreement to create a reserve or capital fund.
And then the grounds regulations, that change is made so we could do that pet wall. So we can go down a little bit further to the next change, which is 1244.120.
Can we back up to the regulations for a second? So this doesn't specifically say pet remains.
Right.
It says as approved by city council. Does that mean we have to get council approval to do the pet wall?
Well, yeah, because I think we have to add that in a section in the ordinance. I think we have to add that as a section. So the ordinance gets changed to add that. They'll be approving it, I think, that way. I think we actually got permission to do the pet wall already.
So is the pet wall referred to later in the ordinance then?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
And I could certainly, it's totally up to you guys. We could take that out. I don't know what other acts would be intrinsic to a cemetery, but in case, I think we did that generally just in case something else we wanted to use it for. I don't know. And then again, I think if you go down to the internment arrangements, we made the same changes there as we made above, trying to make it more clear how somebody can assert their right to use a grave. And then if you, let's see, the next change, this was under, if you go down farther to H placement, there you go. And then keep going down a little bit. I think that change was requested by Brett because we were charging people to, I think, open and close and then reopen when we already had it. I'm not sure, Brett might be able to explain a little bit better, but we don't need to be charging, I don't think, I think we're charging twice to close it back up again. So we made that clear that we don't have to charge twice.
Yeah, what Susan's talking about there is if there's someone that's already been cremated and the second interment is going to be a casket, we have to disinter the cremation and then inter the casket and then reinter the cremation on top of that, all at the same time. So we were charging a disinterment, a reinterment fee, and
then probably the first fee.
for both funerals.
I think then if you go down to that section 7 that's deleted, we couldn't find out why that was prohibited, so we took it out. So again, the monument placement and restrictions, I think that most of these were suggested by Brett, I think. We could not find why memorials had to be put, I think, on the back. We couldn't find a reason for only having memorials on the back. So we changed that. Made it clear that it still has to be a memorial and not, I think for records, we don't want it to say somebody's buried there if it's just a memorial. And then if you keep going down a little bit farther, this is where we get to the sections. And there's where we added in the pet memorial wall and ossuary. So then we added in, I think that must be a new section J. And maybe that might conflict with what Jeremy was talking about above, because here I think we're saying that the board can make new sections if they're interested. So I probably ought to check that, double check that with the language above that Jeremy pointed out. I think those were the changes. Like I said, they came from Ron, from Ashley, maybe from Brett and the Sloan group. Most of it trying to clean up the language. Some of it trying to reflect what we really wanted to do or what we were doing. And some of it we just couldn't find out. We couldn't figure out why there were some restrictions.
I have a couple of questions if you don't mind.
Sure.
The obituaries, my understanding is that those take a lot of time to collect and manage. However, I know in the past I've heard that they do play an important role in certain cases.
Yeah.
Are we, I'm assuming we can get them online, or how do you, what's your thoughts as far as if we don't have them or if we're not collecting them, and do we need to search for them if issue arises then?
Well, I think that's what they do. I think the issue that Ashley has is that we can't always find them, and we don't always have them. If they have the proper paperwork to be buried, I'm not sure we always check out obituaries. And so I think she wanted that taken out of the code in case we can't, because it requires them to keep a file of all that. And sometimes I guess they don't have the obituary, can't find the obituary. But you're absolutely right. We use obituaries a lot to figure out lineage and kids and all that stuff. But I think it's just the requirement that they keep a copy of it is what Ashley wanted out.
Gotcha. From legal perspective, is the city okay with that then?
I'm okay with that. I can't find a reason why we'd want to keep an obituary, or why would we be required to keep it.
Sure. Oh, the fees as far as the like not charging multiple times for disinterment and reinternment. Do those fees need to be listed as could they be changed into instead of an ordinance into a policy for the cemetery? That way it doesn't have to go to city council anytime we want to change fees.
I don't know. I'll have to check into that because I know city council sets fees for everything at one time,
okay.
right? And so it's in one document that they set the fees, and we're supposed to relate back to that document. I'll check into that a little bit.
I mean, that's if that's what the standard is, that's fine. I just wasn't.
I wanted to ask too, Brett, what kind of a reduction in your revenue is this going to be?
Not much. It doesn't happen very often.
Okay. I was just wondering, could we adjust the fee somewhere else or just change the name and still charge the same thing? I don't know. Sounds like you're still doing the same process anyway, but you're just doing it for a little less money. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So as a practice, we're trying to adopt fees by resolution. I'm just speaking for other things I've done. So we'll have an ordinance that establishes the policy, and then we set fees by resolution, which you can go back and amend those fees more easily because a resolution doesn't require a full public hearing.
Jeremy, can you scroll down to the in memory of?
Sorry, say again?
The in memory of part.
Is that the monument placement?
Yeah, yeah. So for the memorials.
1244-170.
Yeah, okay. So it says at the very bottom of that in red, it says all administrative fees will apply. We don't have a fee for that, but I thought we should charge one to, for our documentation and time to enter them into the memorial database. And I don't have a figure in mind. I guess it doesn't have to be anything exorbitant, $30 or whatever you guys deem appropriate.
Could you just talk, use by example what that process looks like?
Carissa could probably explain that better to you than I can.
Okay.
I apologize. I had to take a call, so I missed part of that. Brett, what were the fees for admin or?
What are the processes that you go through to enter into our memorial database?
Yeah, a lot of it is data collection, and then we have to, if we're doing a memorial, we have to get in touch with anybody who's processing any stones or anything like that, and then get it entered in, and then make copies, do files. So I mean, the whole process probably takes, I don't know, 20 minutes to get everything done. So it's just time and entering everything.
And then in terms of the physical memorial, setting of that and placement of it, is that under a different fee category?
Well, if they wanted it to be engraved, that would, the monument company would come out and engrave the memorial in for them.
Isn't this where we've also talked about utilizing our own equipment to do the engraving?
Yeah, who else was trained besides Ron? There was a second person.
What if it was Jason Keeley, who now works at Streets? I could find out, Kim.
Because they were gonna be doing all the niches and everything, so we've got the equipment and that we should be using it.
And Sloan even made a recommendation that we should be doing that.
That was for the depth gates, I believe.
It was for what?
The depth gates.
Brett, do you want me to check with Jason to see if he still remembers how to do that? Or if it was even him who worked with Ron, that would be my guess.
Yeah, you can. I'm not sure that we can do anything with like the actual stones. Like, I mean, we can, but I don't think we're allowed to.
Yeah, wasn't this a big issue a few years ago?
Yeah, it's my understanding it was a pretty big issue. That included the selling of the monuments and stuff too.
I don't know that what the infrastructure looks like or what the training is as far as doing our own engraving. I know, I think prior to me coming on the board, there was issue around it, but I don't know if that continues to exist or specifically what those issues were. I don't see that it would be detrimental to provide a service if the public is looking to us to do it. Does anyone have any thought on that?
What I remember, Neil, was there was some pushback from the private sector and taking business from them. And I know just a little bit that I can remember, but if you want more information, I can get a hold of Mr. Keeley.
I think we actually have Michelle Jordan on the line, and she had her hand up there for a while. I don't know. Yeah, she still does. If you want to let her comment.
Please.
But Garden City Monument.
Hello, can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay. So what that came up to is, we've got 20 years of things that are in our systems, and the people contact us in it. So we have the exact lettering and depth and what is required for that stone. So, and some of them you're going 40, 50 years back, and you get the rubbing and you get the placement. And I think that you'd be opening a can of worms to try to do some of those stones without, Bob has 48 years of it. And some stones we owe the families for them, and maybe their downline isn't aware of it. So yes, we're okay with your niches, but when you start going into the inscribing of the final dates, I think you're opening a can of worms for yourself.
Michelle, I appreciate your comment there. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't have, me personally, I didn't have the background on that. That's really helpful to know.
Thank you.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Anyone else have any questions for Michelle while we have her on? So sorry, I just realized that it's 12:59. This hour snuck by us really quickly. Susan, what do you need from the board at this point? Do you have anything that's still outstanding with the ordinance?
No, other than checking back with the possible conflicting provisions that in the one section that said we go to city council, and then the other section that says the board can just create certain sections. I'll go clarify that. But I'd also, if we're opening up the ordinance, if there's anything the board wants me to look at or us to look at, let me know that too. If there's anything you guys find in there, I'm more than happy to make any changes suggested by you guys. Other than that, those are the only changes that I've been aware of or heard of.
And when do you need our approval on this document?
I think whenever, when then we'll just get it referred to city council. I'm not in a hurry. I don't know what Jeremy's thinking. So I don't think this relates back to the budget like the master plan does.
Probably the only push would be the procedural changes that would make operations more efficient for Brett and his staff over there.
And the pet wall, I know that's been hanging out there.
That's true. Could be a bump in revenue as soon as you guys would approve these.
So if we're looking at having a voting meeting in 2 weeks, do you want to see if we can finalize this and put that in our voting meeting then?
Sure. I think that'd be great.
Brian, is that okay with you?
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy?
That sounds fine.
Board, do you, does that give you guys enough time to review this and maybe provide any feedback to Susan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I have one question, and that's regarding the obituaries. Under this document, what happens to the obituaries we have collected so far? Do those remain with the cemetery, or will those
I'm sure they will. I haven't heard that they're going to go back and remove any. And I would imagine that if they could find them, they will put it in with the file. You know, staff will. It's just that they don't always have them and didn't want it required under the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Then I don't think we have anything else on the agenda for today.
Just have to vote on the minutes now that Paul and
Oh, Kim,
Pat are
thank you
here.
so much. Yes, thank you, Kim. I totally almost spaced that. We need to approve minutes from January's meeting. Pat and
I'd move.
thank you, Pat. Can I get a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Then I believe we can adjourn this meeting.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, Neil, just one question for you.
Yes.
What's the status of just suddenly drew a blank on our other board member's name?
Yeah, so I've left a couple of messages. I have not heard back. Ryan. Sorry, my kiddos.
And I know we're not, we're outside the meeting minutes now or meeting, but just another question. Like, I would have to imagine it's reflected somewhere in the bylaws. Like what?
Thanks, everybody. I got to run.
Thanks, Pat. I believe everyone's term ends. Oh, shoot. For some reason, I want to say it was within the next month or so is when all terms are renewed. I don't have that in front of me.
Okay.
I can look it up and email everyone. That may be, if I don't hear back, that may be just how it progresses.
Thank you.
Thanks for mentioning that, Paul.
Yeah, always.
My kids are getting antsy. Can we get a motion to end today's meeting, to adjourn for the day?
I mostly adjourn for today.
And I think I heard Paul second that. Then we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and appreciate your help today.
Bye. Have a good day, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Same to all you.
get rid of that.